Josh, man. Bubbles, he wants to interview you and me. That's cool, man. Yeah, her voice. You got a YouTube channel. Check my window. nyctransportation. Woo!
Michael, thank you so much for taking the time today to let me interview you. For those who are unfamiliar, please introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Michael Pulaski, and just for record, are we recording this to use for the channel or this is previewing? This
This is to use. This is
this
the
is to use. What
yes.
the heck? I need to put the background. Well, then, so I'll talk as I'm getting ready. First of all, I've been working all day. I have not showered, so this is the full Michael. I'm wearing pajamas that are made out of that have sushi on it.
Oh, very nice.
Um, yeah, so I'm Michael Pulaski, otherwise known as Michael Jackson Pulaski. I'll start setting up the studio as we speak. This is Bubbles. Bubbles. He's not used to the camera. That's Bubbles. So I'm from Houston, Texas.
Hmm.
I grew up here in Houston. Actually got into film, and as a kid, I did some TV shows locally and some commercials, and I always had an interest in entertainment, but didn't really pursue it till I went to college and studied communication and took some film classes, and ended up in Los Angeles on my brother's couch working for Entertainment Tonight as an intern. So yeah, I'm kind of going right into the entertainment thing. But yeah, I grew up in Houston and I loved film and music and took classes, but never pursued it and kind of really wanted to in LA and did some classes in college, but I couldn't study film. Back then, they didn't have a film degree. So I took a few film classes. Yeah, you could major in film at Boulder. I'm sure UCLA, NYU, obviously. And so loved Boulder, had a great time, would work summers at Entertainment Tonight. And then I went over to a production company that did Tales from the Crypt. Have you heard of that show?
Yes. Yes. That's like the old creepy like puppet.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
it's really old.
Yeah.
HBO. And that company did a movie called The Favor, which was Brad Pitt's first film. And so I got to meet him when he was a no one. And in fact, that film was never released until Brad Pitt came out in Thelma and Louise. And he was the hottest dude. Everybody loved him. And he had a 15-minute part that made him famous. And they went back and got the film The Favor and re-released it. It was like, wow, that guy. And yeah, so I'll backtrack and hold the Spielberg stuff. But yeah, so I grew up in Houston and was active in sports and just a lot of fun. But I really had a passion for music and movies, and I love singing and dancing to Michael Jackson. It was just something I did and kind of had a knack for because I think I have a little bit of a similar voice in the sense that it's high.
Ooh, I wanna rock with you. Simone.
So I've
Right.
always done, I talked to a high school friend within the last few weeks, and I told him what I'm doing. He's like, "Oh man, I remember you doing that in high school." I mean, I've been doing it the whole time just for fun.
Ah.
Yeah.
Wait, so when did you first realize that you could do a good impression of Michael? Was it like the voice or the dancing? Like what did
Okay, so that's a great question. I mean, I always loved it, and again, I remember I'm Jewish, and I remember at my bar mitzvah, I was 13, so that was 80 something when Off the Wall came out, and I just remember that because I think I got the record, and it was just it wasn't like, wow, I really like this guy or whatever. I just did it, and it kind of seemed to feel good, and I was a pretty good dancer anyway, but I guess I watched it and learned a little bit, and yeah, saw him in concert, but I would always perform his stuff, and I would consider myself pretty funny and outgoing, and that was part. I was a popular kid that way, and that was one of my routines. That was one of the things. When I was, again, I'm guessing 13 or 14, I went on a family cruise, and the first night was karaoke night, and I did Billie Jean, and the woman came up to me and she said, you could get a job on a cruise show. And I thought, maybe that would be fun. And so again, that was a teenager. I was doing it and getting a reaction. And as early as late as 2020, right before COVID, a week or two before COVID, I went on a cruise ship with my friend who has a company, and they took all the high sales employees there. He had an extra ticket. He said, "Do you want to go?" I went. I did the karaoke night. I did the Michael Jackson. They went crazy. And so it's just something that I do that people enjoy, and I've embraced it because I've done it enough in front of the phone that it's just something that I do. And I know the few times that I take it out to make videos at the grocery store or wherever, a lot of people are shy, or they're not going to want to, or they don't like it, or they don't want to be in camera, whatever. But we figured out what we just need to create content and different interactions, and it's just getting a lot of fun. So I went to the Houston Astros baseball game the other night,
Hmm.
and Bubbles wanted to go. And I took the fedora and I took the glove, and I've been up there without any of that, and I got on the big screen dancing. Well, this time, maybe I cheated a little bit. I found the camera woman, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm over there. Can I dance?" And she said, "Oh yeah." And I was starving. My friend's in line for food. It's right before the game. She looks at the little schedule. Oh, it goes on at the end of the first inning. Okay, thank you. I run and get my friend out. Hey, come on, don't eat. We can't eat now. Let's go back to the seats. We'll finish this thing. We'll win it, and then we can put the glove and enjoy the game. So these kids are behind me, and I'm like, "Do you guys like music?" And they're like, "Yeah." "Do you like Michael Jackson?" "No." "Okay, well, make fun of me. Next thing you know, I'll send you the video.
Uh-huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dance cam after the first inning." And so sure enough, I'm up, and they got me, and then they went to the little kids, and then they went back to me, and then we made it to the finals against the little kids, and then we won. And so I do that kind of stuff in that kind of arena, and it gets a reaction.
I think it's funny also that your actual name is Michael, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And sorry but something kind of interesting, which is very important in this social media world. And in fact, I will tell you about Prince Jackson, who's Michael's son, who I know, and their organization that called me, and I've raised money
Okay.
for them. And they brought up the fact that the name may need to be changed. I'm like, hold on a minute, because my original TikTok, and I still have another one, is Michael Jackson Realtor, right? Where I'm a real
Hmm.
estate agent. The kitchen's mine. The bathroom, the kitchen's new. The bathroom's too.
Check out this house. The kitchen's there. Huge backyard for a playground or pool.
And so I really want to do that, where that seems to be what Prince Jackson's CEO thinks can be a really good thing, that they would have me come out and speak to kids in LA at school for career day and talk about being a real estate agent. Now, would I do the Michael Jackson thing? I don't know. We didn't talk about that, but I love the idea of that. My point is, my original TikTok was Michael Jackson Realtor, and I met a woman that does podcasts, and we went out and we talked. She said, "You should be Michael Jackson Pulaski." And I'm like, "That's funny." And so, I mean, I get all kinds of reactions, but people that kind of know me now, they like saying Michael Jackson Pulaski. Like, that's a different kind of thing, right? And
Right.
I'm curious, living in Wisconsin, I don't know, but there's Pulaski, Tennessee. There's in New York, there's signs. There's Kazimierz Pulaski, which was a famous general. So the name
Okay.
Pulaski is known a little bit. And I don't know if this was just pulled out of the sky, or maybe a writer for The Simpsons or American Dad or one of those shows. There was a bully that
Family Guy. Family Guy. Yes. You have the same name.
same name. So it's just funny, man. It's funny. And again, I haven't done this, but like, you cut up your little videos. Like, I need to take that video and put it in there, and like, I'm Michael Pulaski, and we can have a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah. And now your middle name isn't Jackson or anything. It's
No,
we
and
gotcha.
again, another how ridiculous I am. It's Evan, Evan.
Okay.
But my backup after I tell people that is, I joke that I added an I, and it's Evian. So, when we do this, I can joke it's actually Michael Evian Jackson.
Have you ever actually considered changing it to Jackson? I did an April Fool's prank recently where I convinced people that I changed my middle name to Drewski, the comedian. He's like a bigger guy, he's like a comedian.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
yes. And so I just made a fake document, put it on Instagram. It was convincing enough. But a lot of people thought that I really changed my middle name, and I was like, I don't think I would ever pay for something like that. But also, I'm not a Drewski impersonator. You're a Michael Jackson impersonator. I didn't know if that would ever make a difference.
Let me
It-
tell you something, man. That's a great idea because, like, for example, I just got a business name because I'm making money and
yeah.
I need to write it off. And so I got a business account and I call it MJP Entertainment. So the fact that this, John, I forgot his last name, but he's the CEO for Heal LA, Prince's foundation. And we
Mhm.
talked and anyway, we're working on some stuff. But if he comes to me and says, we'll do whatever, but we don't want that name, I can say, actually, I've got it registered and it's my name.
Yeah. There you go.
Because,
There's a legal loophole.
yeah. Okay.
So,
Do you know that for a fact, or is that, I mean, it's
oh
something
no,
to,
I'm just guessing. I don't
yeah.
take my
Oh,
legal advice. No.
no, I won't. But this is, between this and other
Yeah.
things, it's time to do that because I hope and don't think that you're going to do this. But when I first talked, the podcast lady,
Hmm.
she introduced me to a guy. They're a dime a dozen what we do, but there's the difference between being good and really whatever. And so this guy that, he's an older guy, meaning probably my age, and he has like a sign company. That's what he does to make money. But he also has a
Hmm.
podcast and he can do gadgets. So I thought this guy knows more than I do about products and this. So I'm talking to him like we're doing. He's like, man, I got you. We can do this. We're going to do a logo. And so he knew what to do. And he went off and running so much so that he almost helped me create my logo. He was saying about like with Bubbles, you don't want to mess with Bubbles' name. That's Michael Jackson's stake. If I start selling Bubbles t-shirts, a million of them on my website on TikTok, I'm sure they'll clamp down on me. I don't want to. That's why I created, and I don't have it backed up, Bad Bubbles. This is the first merchandise, and people don't know who that is. But they talk about it when I do my TikTok because I've done it so much. When I get a little monkey like that guy, but it's a little head, and that's Bad Bubbles, and everyone knows Michael Jackson Pulaski, and I start selling stickers, maybe they'll buy that. Maybe it's a waste of money and time. I got to figure that out from a business standpoint, right? But
Right.
I like the idea of Michael Jackson Pulaski. If I'm trying to talk to a friend that's an attorney, he's just blowing me off, but that's the next logical step from what we're doing.
I think more recently, and maybe you would see this too on like the For You page, like on social medias, TikTok, Instagram Reels, or just other posts. Like it seems to be full of Michael Jackson impersonators. There's like Rico Jackson, he's the one who does the Dirty Diana, and he like slides and he stares. There's him. There's a guy who gets impersonators to like perform for each other. There's Fabio Jackson. There's so many.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think about the recent surge in popularity of the Michael Jackson impersonators?
Like my first reaction is that the majority of them, if not all of them, are just fans, right?
Right.
I'm sure there's someone I know a little bit about Fabio. I'm not going to talk anything bad about him. I think he looks just like him and he does a good job. And he's the number one dude. And he follows me, by the way. He showed up on my algorithm. I don't know if someone told
Yeah.
him or whatever, but he showed up like you are right now. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And it was like Michael Jackson showing up. And I go, "Fabio." And he was pissed, man. He's like,
Really?
yeah. And so I grabbed Bubbles. I'm like, Fabio, Bubbles loves you. And he laughed and he said, okay, man. And then he goes, I'm going to follow you. And since he did that, I think little follows trickled in. But
Right.
the other thing that I can give you from, I don't know what to call it other than data and evidence, is in October of 2025, last year, 6 months ago, I went to Los Angeles for Prince Jackson's fundraiser. We went to the Palace Theater where they made Thriller, right?
Hmm.
Went into the theater. I got chills thinking about it. That was incredible. And we watched Ghost and we got to meet Prince Jackson. You're going to like this. This is how crazy I am. I'm a real estate agent and I'm with Realty of America, but I had my old business card. So I took Michael Pulaski and I put Jackson in there and I handed it to him and everyone there. Like I just start talking, follow me on TikTok or can I help your foundation? I gave him the card as we took a picture. Can I give you something? He said yes. We took a picture. I'm like, man, I'd love to help you guys out. And he goes, okay, Michael Jackson Pulaski, see you later. And he laughed. By the time I got home a week or two later, the principal of the school, we're talking to each other because I gave her my number. She called me. Have you talked to Prince? I've been talking about you. Have you talked to John? No, but please let him know. Next thing you know, John calls me. Dude, I don't know who you are. I'm like, well, I met you. I told him who I was. I gave him my card. I don't know who you are, but you are persistent and everybody's talking about you. Cool. Let me help you guys out. And I did. I raised money for him. I want to do more, but like all these other people that are Michael Jackson performers, they kind of want to glom on to Prince and that foundation because then it's like, look at me. That's not what I want to do. I want to make people happy. I want to raise money for these kids that are underprivileged, right? And that's going to happen,
Right.
or if not, we'll do something bigger and better. But my point of that story too is it was really neat to be in a room of people dressed up however they wanted to, dancing. They had a DJ. It was so much fun. And we got in line to meet Prince, and there was a cute girl behind me, all in the she had the Thriller outfit on. I'm like, where did you get that? She said, Amazon. I said, that's really cool. Isn't this great? And we're looking around and people dance. She said, you know what? I finally don't feel weird. Right? It's like we got to let our freak fly or whatever you want to call it. We got to be who we wanted to be. And, everybody wanted to get up and dance and do the thing. So it was fun to watch people's performance. And that was just a reminder. It's all good. It was so much fun. But I just know people can be shy, but you start doing that and they see someone dancing and they want to get involved or they want to show you their move. And again, when I go live and I would assume younger women with kids are like, tell Bailey hi, she loves you or something. It's just fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So do you think that, for a lot of the impersonators and the fans, it's more of like, you guys are enjoying the collective experience of, sharing the interest in Michael Jackson. I wasn't sure if there's like a jealousy aspect sometimes between some of these, bigger impersonators, like you mentioned,
Yes.
there's yourself, Fabio, or just people who just dress up for fun.
Yes. And I think
Yeah.
that there is, and I think Fabio is definitely, which more power to him. The guy's making a living, probably a good living doing it. So anyone like me or anyone else that may draw attention from him is a threat from a financial standpoint. My point is let everybody do whatever they want. We're all a little unique. I lost it, but I had a real fedora that I bought at a hand-me-down shop or whatever. It was like a real fedora, green felt, and I loved it. I think I lost it, but I would have kept that. And that separates me. That to me, it's more like, who the heck is that guy? He's Michael Jackson, but he's not. He's got his own little thing to it, right? I will say there is a little bit of ego or whatever. I'm hesitant to let someone come on with me, only in the sense, to some extent, well, maybe it's a little ego, but it's all more for the fans. If there's a lot of people watching and someone gets on and they go, hey man, I like you, do my dance for me, sing for me. That's kind of like, well, wait a minute, this is for everyone. And if it draws, we lose followers, it's more about the performance. But having said that, I've had a few people come on and I'd love to have someone that's really good. There's a guy named Jackson. Do you know Jackson?
I don't think so.
He's a kid that's 20 something and has the fro and has the look
It's
of
like off the wall era
off the
Jackson.
wall. And he's
Okay.
got a lot more fans than I do. And he hangs out and he dances. And, I tried to get in. Hey, let me say hi. They finally let me in and they heard my voice and they were like, hello? And now they let me go live. I showed them, I showed them Bubbles. And now Jackson will come on. Well, actually, when Jackson's live, he would say, hey, Michael, sing this. And I would sing. He liked to hear me sing and he would get up and dance because, again, not all of them, but most of them don't sing. They at least dance. That's the appeal for a lot of, when you ask, I think most people are so love that so much they want to express themselves by doing the dance. Hey, look at me. I actually do it as good as he does, or I'm just doing it.
Go back a little bit on what you were saying earlier. Everyone has different aspects of what they pull from Michael Jackson. And I think something with you that makes you stand out is, for sure the voice. I think that if you close your eyes, um, it sounds like, Michael Jackson is here. I'm speaking with Michael Jackson when you have the voice on. And also to give you credit, your utilization of bubbles. I don't see a lot of impersonators um to, have bubbles as a part of their like act, really.
Yeah, man. Well,
Yeah.
first of all, thank you for saying that because the moderator in England, we moderated the first night. And I'm like, wow, I don't know this person, but this sure is nice of them. And they were as excited about it as I was. So the next day we talked, but it's whatever, 8 hours later. So I call her and she's in a pub. Hello, Michael. I'm like, hey, it's good to talk to you. And it's loud and there are people talking and there's, glasses and it's like distracting to me. And I didn't want her to say, hey, shut up. I was like, hey, I don't know if you can hear me, but I think I'm going to tell you about, and what I wanted to tell her a little bit about my past with Spielberg and stuff. She says, I can hear you fine. I have a hearing problem, so I wear hearing aids and everything else is gone. So this is a woman that's in England telling this guy I can have extra special hearing. And by the way, when I close my eyes, I hear Michael Jackson. And I would also say you mentioned something that's happened organically when I first started tapping into the live and going, oh, this, like people would like me or say a comment and I'd be like, hey, thank you. Like I didn't know how it worked. I'm still learning. But it organically grew and someone messaged me or either said on live, you need to get a monkey. You need to get Bubbles. And I went on Amazon, I ordered the monkey, and now the challenge for me is look, if they love Bubbles more than me, I don't need to dance. I'll just stand there like this all day long. It's like a cute girl, right? A cute girl goes, hey, and the guys throw money at her. And again, I like the money, but I want to have something. And I'm not taking off my shirt yet. No, I'm kidding. The point is with Bubbles, that's grown organically.
Thank you. We raised money for Bubba's new outfit.
When I get him to dance a little bit, people like that. So what I haven't done yet in my studio is I want to get him on his own. I want him coming in and looking at you and looking at me and then going off and then bringing in some, that's going to take puppetry or whatever. But this is where I'm organically coming up with a whole show, right? And I don't have a full team. I'm getting that. But like, man, I wish this was my full-time job and I had you and other people. And we've got 21 days until the show. In 5 days, we're going to launch a giveaway for flying to Houston and you get a ticket to go to the show. Like right now, I have a ticket for the opening of Michael. Did you get one or are you planning or that's not your thing?
There's
You
a
will.
there's an early access screening, I think like on the 22nd at my
Okay.
movie theater. Me and my fiance will go.
So I got caught up in the hype and I bought a ticket for opening night, which I'll go and probably do the whole outfit. But my goal is, and I don't know if you've watched on TikTok, excuse me, but sometimes I'll have on one of the screens 30 days, 20 days, now 24 days until the movie to build the hype. And we're trying to get people to either order a cameo or donate on Cameo to get Bubbles to London. And maybe someone's going to see it. Like Fabio follows me. He's got 12 million people. This woman, the grandma that showed up, 4 million people. Now they shared it. It's not like 1,000 people came in, but if someone sees me and goes, man, let's get that guy out to Germany or LA to not necessarily like he's got such a huge following and can say, come meet me at this theater in LA and we're going to get all those people. But that might be something fun as an attraction that's there. Like in LA right now, you may know this, they've got on Hollywood Boulevard, they've got a whole movie screen that's just constantly showing the preview and a DJ. So when you drive down the street and you're at the stop sign, you see a DJ, that's attention, right? So I could be someone to show up at your party or at your movie screening. And I want to do that. And this is gonna, again, you calling me is organically happening. This will lead to something. It's just there's unlimited potential, and I want to partner up with a corporation that is going to fly me out somewhere so I can travel and have fun and make people laugh and have a good time and dance.
So for the Michael movie, you are excited for it? Do you have faith in it being a like a solid representation of him?
From what I've seen, it looks incredible. It's, I know the business because I worked in it, so I know a little bit about it. It's not all. There's a lot of money involved. This thing has been planned out like unbelievable. Now that I'm doing the TikTok, I tend to at least once during the performance show the trailer. So I've seen a few. Have you seen some of the trailers?
Yeah.
They
Yep.
slowly show you different parts of the movie. Um, Now they're doing the merchandising in the theaters, and the little bit that I know about him, and I love watching stuff of these people that worked with him. In fact, my nephew went to high school with a guy that worked on Billie Jean and came up with a lot of the songs and lives at home with all the equipment still. Like that's incredible. I'd love to meet the guy,
Wow.
right?
Yeah. Sure.
Wow is right, but they're human beings. It's like they lived in LA and they're still there. It seems wild, but it's just they're people. And so to hear them talk about him, like not only does he sound like was he a good dude in the studio, like musicians can be not cool people and can get upset at anyone because they think there's this and that. That guy has the right to be that way, not really be an ass, but it sounds
Mhm.
like he was the nicest dude around. So I love to hear that. And then by watching this over and over and performing over and over, I'm getting better. And so to address that movie, yes, I think the director is trying to show the humanness of the guy. And I think from what I've seen, which is not the movie, only the trailer, it sure does scratch the surface of looking at a person and realize they're a human being. And I can tell you, I don't know that when I go on live, okay, I'm Michael Jackson. And although sometimes I kind of try to, as an actor, do that, but it gives me a little bit of a taste of what that's like to want people, when people say, hey, do this song, do that song, do that. Okay, hold on. I'm tired and I can't do all of that and I can't work a remote. It's a lot, but it's nothing like that guy. And then again, just to kind of the thing that's incredible is that he's still so pertinent, right? Because you're young and interested in him, but also he lived in a time which you can't understand. I don't know that you can, right? It's like, dude, we could talk about Sphere right now, and it's nothing until you're there and experience it. It's virtual
Right.
reality. It is in virtual reality, but until you are there, you're not going to know what it's like. I can talk about it. So again, I'm not saying this from like a bragging standpoint. I love the insight that when I do this thing, I do get a feeling like how people react and what they want. And I mean, it can be distracting for me. There are people that message me from TikTok because they just love it. And so if I stop what I'm doing for work to like talk to someone, like I'll give you an example. There's this sweet young girl that's autistic. And not only does she like me, but she's glommed on to Bubbles. That's as a kid that has autism, there's something about that, maybe comfort, right? Like stimuli can be too much. So for a little bubble, that little monkey, that's comforting. So I think that's part of it. So she'll message me in the morning, hey, good morning, or this or that. And she says, because she's Brazilian, so she speaks English, which is impressive, but the grammar's not always there. So she says stuff like, how are bubbles? Like, how is bubbles? Well,
Huh?
is she being funny or is she like, and I'll say something, oh, he's sleeping or he's got school. So I mean, that's a trip, right?
Right.
And that's one, and then there, like people that just love him or love talking to me and they'll say like, hey, there's a group of guys that play uh baseball. I don't know if they're college or whatever, but I can name the names and they all get on. They bought stickers from me. They found the same monkey on Amazon and they sent me a picture. In their locker room is the monkey with Bad Bubble sticker And it's a whole thing for them. It's like it's just fun. So it's just, yeah, yeah.
You're impersonating, Michael Jackson, and the fact that, you can relate to what he was going through at a smaller scale, but
Much
still,
smaller.
the immense pressure that he's had on him since he was like a kid up until what he died at around like 50 years old.
50. And
And it
yeah,
seemed like, man, he was just like overworked or never really got a break very much. And then
yeah.
I'm sure like, in between all that, like you're saying, it gets overwhelming for you, but there are those certain fan interactions, like, the girl in Brazil or, the baseball players. I'm sure that, despite all that, maybe that was a part of what kept him going. I don't know if you feel that way.
Oh, absolutely. Because again, yeah, this is where it's, yeah. I mean, to be here in this moment and live this life and then look back at it all and go, wow, there was actually almost like a reason for it. I mean, I know I'm a different person than I was, and this is more of an in-depth personal about me and my life, which it's a pretty incredible story because I'll tell you something. This is being recorded, so I'm not going to cry. But I lived a very long time with chronic pain, with an injury that was never really diagnosed in Western medicine, and through pain and suffering and trying to take care of myself and going, dude, you have like a sciatic, an older guy's stretching and muscle, which was true, but I was doing what they're saying and it wasn't working. I was going through life struggling to work and make a living. And literally, when I got in my car or walked up steps, it wasn't comfortable. And I went through that so long. And then, this is where I'm giving you my story, man. Um, and it coincides with the movie. My fa my father passed away a year ago on April 23rd. So for many years, maybe two or more, I spent as much time as I could with him. And that was my dad. And he was and is my hero and was an example of humanity that is like Michael Jackson for me. And so to go through that last few years, that was hard on a person. And I've never experienced anything like that. So like a lot of personal stress and tension and angst, that was going on at the same time of this physical pain, at the same time of maybe relieving it by doing this performance that maybe made me feel good and other people, but that was so much. And then when I got to the point where, damn, I've caught on to something that I'm good at and seems to be catching on, but I can't do it physically because I'm in so much pain. And I went to a massage place that I've been going to forever. And I told the woman, I don't want to live like this. And she said, you need to see the master. And long story short, I went to a guy that did this. And I think it was a pinched nerve this whole time. And now here I am less than a year later, ready to go. And I don't wake up or go to sleep in that chronic pain thinking, man, I really want to get up there knowing if I get up for 15 minutes or an hour and dance, I'm not going to get out of bed the next morning. So now that I can do it, it's even more of a thing. And with my father, again, it's almost like as difficult as it was when he left, it allowed me to have a little more time to like I'd do it over again. If I spent half my day just sitting with my dad and he was still around, I'd do it. But now my days, those hours aren't spent to that. Now it's more towards fulfilling my business life, my personal life, and having this exciting new experience. And so I do it for me because I'm good and I love it and it makes other people happy. And I kind of keep my chin up thinking, man, if he's looking down right now or he's helping me with this, pretty cool. Of course, I'd like to make some money and make it better or whatever, but I also don't want to make it like, if someone came to me and said, we'll give you $10 million, I'll probably take it. But like, it's like, hey, we want you to be the next Mr. Beast. We're giving you all the money in the world and you don't have to worry about anything. I'm not ready for that. I want to do this in a way that's going to be more than just money, that it is going to do, again, hit Michael Jackson's message, in my opinion. That's the part about the movie. It starts out, I want to bring peace, joy, love to people. You know, he lived in a time we've all always had that in time. There's all kinds of BS and difficult stuff. We all need something. And what his message is to me is a good one to pass on.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about this because it is something to bring up. Do you ever, you're impersonating someone who has a fair amount of like allegations of being inappropriate with minors or bad stuff that is involved with their reputation. Are you ever concerned or feel like uncomfortable that that is a part of the person that you're portraying? Or do you kind of feel like, you're like the Michael Jackson highlight reel? You are doing the best and like the positive aspects of who that person is as like as a performer, and and that's how people are viewing you, and that is like a separate thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, another great question and very controversial. I can tell you from my opinion, which I don't know, but from what I know about him and from the evidence that people talk about, and from, for example, although this doesn't mean he didn't do anything, these guys that talk about him as a person in the studio. And I didn't tell you this part. Okay, Michael, come back tomorrow at 8 o'clock or 9, and they're in the studio and they're waiting and they're waiting and they turn on the TV and he's in Hungary. He flew to Hungary in a private jet to go take care of some kids in the hospital. So there's that. And then I don't know, you tell me. The part against him is a movie that two guys said some horrible stuff, which, God, if that's true, then yeah, that's a hard pill to swallow. That doesn't mean that, oh, but he's a great musician, so that's okay. It's kind of like, it's different. But R. Kelly, like, that guy had some great songs, but a monster. But, I mean, this doesn't mean it's okay, because it's actually probably contrary, but this movie's coming out. There's going to be a ton of money made. People don't care if it's true. You know what I mean? That I do. I care if it's true. But the music transcends that. It doesn't mean it's okay. But again, this is a debate or a conversation or argument. In my personal opinion, after all of these years and learning more and seeing more, which we can through social media or things that are not on the mainstream, I get the impression definitely the dude was different. I mean, he was, I think, got the crap beat out of him as a kid to do what he is going to do. And that's going to change and traumatize people to extremes where they could be horrible monsters, or they could come out of it, like I know I have, in a different kind of trauma or whatever, for the good and only good. Like, absolutely. So I'm a different, I want to say, don't put me in that category. I'm taking something that I love in the music and doing that. Now, if I don't even want to think about, I can understand that, but my opinion is I didn't want to think it was true back then because he was my idol and still is, right? But then when you
Right.
start to hear about this, oh gosh, well, is he sleeping with boys or kids in his bed? That's freaking weird. But I've also didn't have the crap beat out of me when I was 6. So it may be, and this is where, let's say for devil's advocate, that you had the crap beat out of you as a kid, and you have, which we all have, that inner child that is pure love and joy. And no one's going to take away that from me if I have it and you can't take it. And I think that's not only what he was from like a pure thing, but he had the ability to show the world. And the crazy thing is, this is some crazy stuff. We live in a world now where that they're talking about that other guy and stuff he did, which he did, I think. I don't know, but I think he did. So now it's
Yeah.
like, well, wait a minute. All of the stuff that they're talking about this guy that you're asking him about, which, by the way, whether he did it or not, made a lot of money and a lot of interest and a lot of magazines and a lot of talk for a lot of people. whether he did it or not. And that's the way this world works, is let's make some money, whether it's true or not, who cares? And let's put that guy in a horrible place. Let's just say he didn't do it. My gosh, how bad is that? That might have driven him under, right?
Right.
I mean, then that's a whole other thing. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I mean, I totally understand it. And then there are people that will throw that in my face. What am I supposed to say about that? Right?
Right.
I'm just, yeah, I mean, again, yeah, it's me doing that. And, that's where it becomes, I think it's kind of funny, and I've gotten better at doing what I'm doing. You have to have a little thick skin, whether it's a robot that's coming in or someone that's having a bad day and wants to blow up the fun, and they make a comment and I get triggered and I go, hey, that's where, which again, what I love is there's enough people that follow me that my statement is we don't funk around, right? Funk.
Hmm.
And it's fun and it's music. Now, if you want to come at me, I can change that letter. My branding is, you see F, U, and then
Right.
whether it's a C or an N, it's like a dollar sign or whatever.
Hmm.
You decide, bro. Right? Like and I've
Right.
gotten better, and it's become a game. When someone throws in some comment, I know that it's either a robot or they're trying to stir the pot. Like really, they have that, I think, in the algorithm. Or it's some guy that,
Definitely.
right, or a guy that wants
Right.
attention, or really does think that way, and it makes him upset that I'm promoting that. But that's good on
Right.
him. Let them do that.
What are your three favorite songs from Michael Jackson right now? And have they changed over time? Because like right now, I really like Remember the Time, Man in the Mirror, Get on the Floor. Those are like my top three, but that's way different from like when I was a kid. What
Really,
are like yes,
Uh,
yes, definitely.
that's
But
interesting.
you have like a top three right
I
now?
mean, I get asked that all the time, and I really don't. But as you name those, and again, there's so much there. I don't know all the words. There's a few songs that I've heard over the last year or two that I never heard. There's some songs I haven't heard yet. Not that I need to know everyone and be an expert, but that's the thing that's so exciting about someone that's been around forever. There's so much I don't know, and that these other people that are fans know like crazy. They're like Michael Jackson files or whatever. I should say,
Right.
But having said that, like the first thing that comes to my mind is Billie Jean, because that's always my go-to that I would perform. Um, I love performing Human Nature. I just that song. And then the one I'm trying to think of it. That my biggest video that's got over 1.1 million views is I can't even think of the song, because I think what caught on with it, and I just did it. I gotta look at it. Sorry. Girl, close your eyes, let that rhythm get in. Rock with you. So again, something that I haven't done that I want to do is really record all of the songs and watch myself and see what are the best songs, what are the best
Hmm.
moves, so I can improve it, but also it makes sense to play that. So Rock With You is one that I enjoy and people tend to like. And then, the stuff that's exciting is something that I've kind of leaned into lately, whether it's the first song or at some point, is Want to Be Starting Something, but the live version, because it's got a lot of energy and it's a little bit faster. And
Hmm.
so again, I want to get better, and I am getting better. I do. I will say I catch myself sometimes when I do a move or I do something, and I'm realizing it's just because I've been doing it over and over and over, and I'm watching it. And I'll perform and I'll look up and I'll lock eyes with him, with the and try to do that. And sometimes it does. My body or my voice, it just does it. And that's where, again, I'm not Michael Jackson. But if you tell me it sounds like a little bit, I'll take that and I'll go with whatever it is. And it's working.
Do you prefer to keep the real estate and then the Michael Jackson stuff like separate, or or does it feel too overwhelming to try to combine them
I mean,
sometimes?
dude, you're asking the right questions. And what you are asking is, I'm looking for the help and support to do that. Either part of me doesn't want to get caught up in like, wait a minute, do we need to start Michael Jackson Realtor and then get that every day and make a video there? Or do we, and then we got Michael. I think it's just going to organically do it. Like some people know I'm a real estate agent. If you watch my TikTok, there's 3 or 4 videos of me dancing through a house. Again, this is where it takes planning. Do we just, we've got enough to do already. If we want to make Michael Jackson Realtor videos, put them in Michael Jackson Pulaski. Don't make extra work for yourself.
Would you ever be interested in doing like voice acting as Michael
Oh,
Jackson? Or
I took a voiceover class in LA for Kalmanson and Kalmanson. That's the company, one of the companies that if you're in LA and you're going to be a voiceover actor, that's a good place to get started. It's a good place to put your reel together for a voiceover actor. I can
Mhm.
also say I had a friend that was an agent for professional voiceover actors. And I thought, I know this guy. I'm going to go down to CAA and he's going to show me around. And I went to the booth where you record and he played professional actors. I can't remember the names. And I'm like, fuck, that's good. And he's like, you want to do it? I'm like, yeah, man, let me do it. And when I did it, I was like, okay, I'm going to need some training. But I also have learned, and I can tell you right now, like one of the things that we did and we recorded, and maybe I have the tape or maybe it disappeared, is okay, you're a cockroach. You're a cockroach and you're walking and your feet hurt. And again, I don't remember what the product was. And so I remember this because it was fun and I thought this is pretty good. So I took the words and I took the script and this is what I did. It was like, ow, 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 my exoskeleton's killing me. So that's pretty good, right? So
Yeah,
that's what professionals do, but you got to be able to have that voice and you got to be in the booth for an hour or two and crank it out. Because if you're not trained and you're going off and you're not doing what they want, it's like this clown is not prepared. So I think I've got the natural ability. And again, maybe that's all I need.
I had to show you that I had to move because I had to plug in my laptop here. But I was going to show this is one of my prized possessions. This has traveled many states. I've had this for uh maybe like over 10 years.
Oh my God, dude.
This is I think yeah, it's him in the Beat It outfit. I used to have the box, but it got beat up. But this is from I want to say maybe early 90s, early 90s.
So where did you
So the audio and video at the end of this interview completely just cut out. I'm not sure if there's bad weather on my end or his end, but the interview got cut short. It was a great conversation. There's still a lot here, but the whole end part of this video was cut. So no proper conclusion, but thank you again, Michael Jackson Pulaski, for letting me interview you. This was a great time. So thanks.